this edition of FedGov Today with Francis Rose, the consolidation wave rolls through the Interior Department.
We consolidated all of our IT resources, all of our 2210s, into one single organization, the OCIO.
Former Interior CISO Lou Eichenbaum on FedGov Today in just a moment. First, though, the cyber threat landscape's getting more intense for the energy sector, according to the director of the Caesar office at the Energy Department, Alex Fitzsimmons. He'll tell you about it on the next FedGov Today TV. You can watch the debut on ABC7 in Washington and on the FedGov Today YouTube channel at 10:30 Sunday morning. If you miss the debut, you can watch it anytime at fedgovtoday.com and on YouTube. The Interior Department's wrapping up Phase 1 of a modernization program that rolls Zero Trust into its IT consolidation journey. Lou Eichenbaum recently stepped down as the Chief Information Security Officer at Interior. At the Billington Cybersecurity Summit, he tells me another addition is better vulnerability assessment tools.
You're probably familiar with CISA's known exploitable vulnerabilities. So we did a lot of great work there. We started to work on centralizing a lot of our tools. So I feel like, despite some of the challenges we had, we were able to make a lot of good progress in a short period of time.
I think a lot of people don't think about the fact that Interior Department's composed, you have HQ obviously, and then you have a number of bureaus and sub-organizations across the department.
Yeah.
What's your sense of the state of collaboration among all of the professionals, technology professionals and others across all of those organizations, vertically as well as horizontally?
Sure. And so, again, that was another thing just in the last 6 months that one of the big things we were able to do is, for years, I've worked at the Department of Interior for 23 years. We have incredible bureaus that provide incredible missions to this beautiful country of ours. National Park Service, the Bureau of Land Management, USGS, Fish and Wildlife Services. And for years, they had their own separate IT organizations. Just recently, in April of this year, we consolidated all of our IT resources, all of our 2210s, into one single organization, the OCIO. So this was phase one. They were still initially focused on doing the work within their bureaus. Down the road, the idea was we would ultimately consolidate this into a centralized organization that provided enterprise services to the entire department. So it was it was honestly kind of amazing to see how everyone could get together and focus and make this happen. Mm-hmm. And you have people in the bureaus and offices who are they love their mission. These IT people, that they want to build services that ensure that these missions work effectively, and having them all together in the OCIO and to a single organization, very challenging, but it's driving us to deliver better and more efficient IT services at the department.
A lot of folks that have been through those types of consolidations, Agriculture Department and others, have said that the cultural piece is just as difficult or more difficult than the technology piece. Did you find that to be the case at Interior too?
I absolutely agree. Yes, the cultural piece is definitely the hardest part. This is not the first time we've tried this, Francis. I remember I've been at the department 23 years and in multiple roles, and primarily cybersecurity. I've worked at the Bureau. I was the CISO at the Bureau of Land Management. Mm-hmm. I was the CISO at the Office of Surface Mining and Reclamation. So I've seen on both sides, and there's been several times we've tried to consolidate. It does make sense, to consolidate, you gain efficiencies through economies of scale. The biggest issue has been the cultural thing, and it's always been around the concern at the bureaus that, look, if we consolidate, we're going to lose that mission focus. It's what's really important. It's not that we do IT, it's that we're delivering mission services to this country. And so that it really, as part of this last effort, that was one thing we really put a real focus on, to say, look, guys, if we centralize, we're not going to forget the fact that our job is to deliver mission services. We got to make sure our parks are clean and safe. We got to make sure the Bureau of Reclamation is ensuring that the Hoover Dam is functioning properly. That's what we need to do, not just deliver IT services. We did a focus on that. It's still challenging. It's hard for people in a bureau to think, hey, I'm no longer part of USGS.
Yeah.
But as long as they know that I'm still delivering mission services to these organizations, I think it helped. Still challenging, though.
Yeah. As you're naming some of the bureaus inside the organization too, I'm thinking about the diversity of infrastructures that you must have had to work with. You've got IHS, if I remember correctly.
IHS?
Indian Health Service.
Oh, no, Bureau of Indian Affairs.
Okay.
We have the Bureau.
I'm going to pick that up because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we have Bureau of Indian Affairs,
Yeah.
and we also have the Bureau of Indian Education. We do not have Indian Health Services. I don't know where they are. You would think we would.
Well, it explains why we would probably need to do a reorganization. All right,
Yeah.
we're going to pick that up in 3, 2, 1. I'm also struck by the diversity of infrastructures that you must have there, as you name some of the bureaus that are in the organization that do really widely diverse missions.
Sure.
Does that complicate consolidation like the one that you worked on?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the main concerns with the cultural aspect is we have each bureau and office we have a very diverse missions within each bureau and office. We used to call ourselves the Department of Everything Else, right? Because it kind of started with Park Service and everything else just fell in there. Like, for example, the Bureau of Indian Affairs that manages the Indian trust data, which is very critical. Also, the Bureau of Indian Education. A lot of people don't know this. This is a critically important mission. They have their own unique infrastructure that supports school systems on native land, and this is helping our Native Americans in this country get educated, and it's giving them opportunities. It's a critically important mission, right? A lot of people don't know about it, but yeah, it's that diversity. It makes it challenging to consolidate, but again, that's why we have to keep mission first, focused on the mission, and then IT.
All right, some nuts and bolts, some stuff you told me about before we turn the recording on.
Oh, no.
Multi-factor authentication.
Sure.
Something that was a tough nut for a lot of organizations to crack. How'd you crack it at Interior?
So it was difficult. So prior to being the CISO, my role was I was the Zero Trust Program Manager, and that's a job I really loved, and I believe in Zero Trust and the principles of Zero Trust. So when OMB released M2209, they gave us specific foundational pieces. It wasn't the whole package, right? They knew that, but certain things to get us started. Multi-factor authentication was one of them. This was back in 2022. At the time, we had, for our information systems, we were probably about 30% compliant with MFA for our systems. Over the last 3.5 years, we're up to about 97% now. Now, this is how it happened. It goes back to people working collaboratively together. We put all the bureaus and offices together. We created what we called an MFA sprint, where we were all just working together, help each other solve these problems. Of course, there's technology involved, right? I won't mention the names of the companies, but there were certain technologies that helped us enable us to do this. But really, it was just about taking this team of people, multiple bureaus and offices, working together, developing these sprints and driving the activity, and we were able to do it.
How do you recommend that people inform their teams that aren't the IT people that something like Zero Trust is important and it's something you should care about, even though it might not be obvious to impact the mission of the work that you're doing?
So, one of the Zero Trust, again, to me, it's not necessarily a technology issue. It's about people and processes, right? And so we, as part of our Zero Trust program, we developed a cultural adoption program where, number one, we focused initially on IT people, where, to educate them. We were able to provide Zero Trust certification training to over 200 people in the department. So we have over 200 IT people that are Zero Trust certified. They know it. And what happens when they get certified is they are now going out and spreading the message, telling everybody about it, so that we are incorporating Zero Trust into everything we do. The other thing we did, we made an effort to go out to our people in the field that use these services to talk to them. We met with park rangers and said, hey, how can we help you? What are you guys seeing out there? And there are things we could do with them where they're like, look, I'm out in the field. I got to come back. I got to connect this device and do this. And we're like, oh, well, maybe we can put some protections, around this device. Have you, let's enable it so it can be cloud enabled and not have, make it easier for you to do your work. So we actually met with, we met with like our HR staff as well to say, hey, what are the things we can do? At the time, we had this HR system that you had to connect using a VPN, then you had to log in using a password. And we said, you know what? I think it'd be easier if we just implemented SASE and then use single sign-on, which using multi-factor authentication, so that you could more easily access the device. And at the same time, it's more secure. So we did go out and talk to our customers of IT to get a sense of how not only can Zero Trust improve security, but we want to improve the customer experience.
Is it important to then go back to those folks and say, here's what we did, so they know you paid attention?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so they're more likely to give you feedback in the future?
Absolutely. I'll tell you, like the person we had a couple of people with HR. There was one person where we kept in touch with, and we actually had her come on. NASA asked us to present to them on our Zero Trust program. We brought her on as one of our speakers to talk about, hey, here's how it's helped me. Because when we implemented the Zero Trust program, like I said, we didn't want it just to be about security. One of the primary strategies was to improve customer experience as well. So we did want to make sure we did that, and I feel like we did.
Lou Eichenbaum, the former CISO at Interior, he stepped down at the end of August. You can read more about Zero Trust and all the other items Lou told you about on today's show page at fedgovtoday.com. The FedGov Today podcast comes back on Tuesday. The new Chief Information Officer at the VA, Eddie Poole, is here. To make sure you don't miss him, follow the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows. And you can listen on demand at fedgovtoday.com. I'm Francis Rose. Thanks very much for listening.